Hello, English learners. Welcome back to another great lesson at English Pod. My name is Marco.
And my name's Erica.
And today we're going to be building something.
That's right. We've got a lesson about construction.
Cool. So we're going to be working at a construction site today, and we're going to learn a lot of cool vocabulary with different types of tools.
And we'll also learn some phrases that you can use to talk about work. So even if you're not really interested in building and making stuff out with your hands, you will learn some language to talk about work in general.
All right, so before we get started with this construction dialogue, let's take a look at vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
Well, Marco, we're going to look at two words now. And like you said, we're building something in this lesson, right?
Right, we're going to be building a deck.
A deck.
A deck.
All right, so a deck, what is that?
Basically, it's an elevated wooden platform that houses will have like in their backyards maybe.
So it's a platform that's a little bit higher off the ground behind your house.
So it's very popular for houses to have decks, and people will put out a table and chairs and maybe have lunch out there.
Or a barbecue or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so a deck. Now, they're building this deck and they need to follow some plans. Plans.
The plans that we're talking about are construction plans.
Yeah, it's kind of like the map for the deck, how you're going to build it.
Exactly. So we can have floor plans, for example.
So that shows you how the building looks, like where the different rooms are.
And like a house, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically the map for a construction.
Okay, great. So two interesting words. We're going to hear both of these in the dialogue. Now, why don't we get started and find out what's going to happen as they're building this deck?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been hired to build a deck on this here house and turn this boring and drab lawn into a backyard oasis. There is one catch, though. We've only got 1 day to finish this, so I'm going to need everyone to give 110% today. It's going to be tough, but we've got a great team here, and I know that together we can tackle this project. That being said, let's get to work.
That's right. Now, remember, we've been over the plans, but we really need to make sure that everything is up to code. The home inspectors here are pretty thorough, so please make sure you follow the plans exactly. And remember the carpenter's rule of thumb: measure twice, cut once.
Okay, guys, let's get at it. Bob, pass me that hammer. The nails won't go in. The wood is too hard. I think I'm going to need the nail gun. That did it.
Hey, do me a favor and help me cut this 2x4, will ya? Pass me that circle saw and grab hold of the end of the board. Now help me drill some holes in it so we can place the bolts.
I think you should sand the edges. Look at all these splinters. Someone could get hurt. Jeez, you gotta take pride in your work.
Yeah, you're right. Pass me the sander and I'll take care of it.
Julia, get over here with that level, measuring tape, and that box of screws.
Oh no! Look out below!
All right, so there are a lot of people building the deck. They have to build it fast. They've only got 1 day, so it's a really big challenge, huh?
Yeah, and I think this is a good lesson in maybe not rushing through important projects, right?
Exactly. So we saw some really interesting tools that they were using. So why don't we look at that first in language takeaway?
Language takeaway.
All right, so we got some language all about tools. So why don't we just get started? So they mentioned a nail gun.
Nail gun.
A nail gun.
So we all know about hammers and nails, right?
Right, so the nails are what you put in the wood.
Exactly. Now this is an advanced tool, so you don't have to use a hammer. It's kind of hard to explain, so why don't we listen to the sound this tool makes?
Well, I guess like its name suggests, it's a gun for putting nails in wood.
Yeah, it actually uses compressed air to push nails really fast into the wood.
All right. So they're nailing some pieces of wood together, but they also needed to cut the wood, and they said, help me cut the 2x4.
Yeah, she said, help me cut this 2x4.
So a 2x4.
This is a very popular type of wood that you use in construction. A 2x4 is basically 2 inches by 4 inches.
So 2 inches high and 4 inches wide.
So it's the most popular and common type of wood that you would use for construction, a 2x4. You'll hear it all the time.
So they're going to cut the 2x4, and C said, pass me the circular saw.
A circular saw.
A circular saw.
So a saw, we understand, is something you use to cut wood. But you have many types of saws. You have a bandsaw, you have a circular saw, and this one makes this sound.
So I guess it's called a circular saw because the blade or the cutting part is shaped in a circle.
Yeah, a circular saw.
So after they cut the piece of wood, one of the guys said, I think you should sand the edges.
To sand
To
something.
sand something.
All right. So if you want to sand usually a piece of wood, you want to use paper covered in sand to make it very smooth.
Yeah, exactly. And so they also mentioned a sander, right?
A sander is basically a machine that has this sandpaper on it and will do the hard work for you.
All right, so to sand something and a sander.
Now, our next word is very related to sanding something because if you don't sand a piece of wood, it might have splinters.
Splinters.
Splinter.
Splinters.
So like I said, if you cut a piece of wood, there are little pieces of wood that stick out and you can get hurt. They can get under your skin.
Yeah, so tiny, tiny parts of wood.
That's called a splinter.
A splinter. Okay, so why don't we go on to our next tool? They were talking about a level.
A level.
The level.
All right, so this is a tool that all carpenters have, and it's basically a tool that has a little bit of water in it, right?
Yeah, and it helps you make sure that everything is straight and flat.
Exactly, so that's a level. Every carpenter has it, and also a measuring tape.
A measuring tape.
Measuring tape.
Now, I'm sure if this was a video podcast, we could show you what a measuring tape was and you'd really understand it, but we'll do our best to describe it for you. So a measuring tape is like a ruler that rolls up.
Yeah, it's a very convenient ruler because it can roll up and you can measure something that is maybe 6 feet or 3 meters long, and you can extend it, and when you're done measuring, you can put it back and just put it in your pocket.
Yeah, every carpenter has one.
A measuring tape.
All right, so that's our last tool that we're going to talk about. So why don't we move on now to Fluency Builder, where we've got some phrases that you can use to talk about work.
Fluency Builder.
So when the contractor started giving them instructions, he said, I need everyone to give 110% today.
To give 110%.
So when you give 110%, you are basically trying very hard.
Yeah, you give everything you have to your job.
Right. So it's not only 100%, it's 110, more than what's needed.
So no lunch break.
Exactly. So as they were talking about the instructions, one of the guys said, the carpenter's rule of thumb.
A rule of thumb.
So this is an interesting phrase, rule of thumb. What does that mean exactly?
Okay, well, you know what? I think we can understand the meaning pretty clearly if we listen to some examples.
Example 1.
The rule of thumb in making a sale is confidence. Without confidence, you don't make a sale.
Example 2.
The tailor's rule of thumb is twice the circumference of the wrist is the circumference of the neck.
Example 3.
You don't have to take everything I say about marketing as a rule of thumb.
One of the guys noticed a few problems, the splinters, and he said, you've got to take pride in your work.
Okay, so to take pride in your work.
To take pride in your work.
So why did he say that to her? What is he trying to tell her?
Well, because she made some mistakes, she didn't do such a good job. He's wanting her to work harder, work better. Work more carefully.
Okay, and so she can be proud of her work and say, this is a job well done.
So when you take pride in your work, you work so well and do such a good job that you feel really happy about it.
All right, good. So why don't we listen to this dialogue again for the last time, and then we'll come back and talk about...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been hired to build a deck on this here house and turn this boring and drab lawn into a backyard oasis. There is one catch, though. We've only got 1 day to finish this, so I'm going to need everyone to give 110% today. It's going to be tough, but we've got a great team here, and I know that together we can tackle this project. That being said, let's get to work.
That's right. Now, remember, we've been over the plans, but we really need to make sure that everything is up to code. The home inspectors here are pretty thorough, so please make sure you follow the plans exactly. And remember the carpenter's rule of thumb: measure twice, cut once.
Okay, guys, let's get at it. Bob, pass me that hammer. The nails won't go in. The wood is too hard. I think I'm going to need the nail gun. That did it.
Hey, do me a favor and help me cut this 2x4, will ya? Pass me that circle saw and grab hold of the end of the board. Now help me drill some holes in it so we can place the bolts.
I think you should sand the edges. Look at all these splinters. Someone could get hurt. Jeez, you gotta take pride in your work.
Yeah, you're right. Pass me the sander and I'll take care of it.
Julia, get over here with that level, measuring tape, and that box of screws.
Oh no! Look out below!
So an interesting aspect of North American culture is projects like this, right? Building a deck or maybe adding a room to your house.
Yeah, that's right. And we call this DIY.
Right, DIY, do it yourself. Mm-hmm. So it's a very popular summer project, right?
Right. So if you live in a neighborhood in North America, you might see the dad of a family outside building something, and all his friends come over and they, drink beer and build this big thing together.
Right. So it could be a tree house, it could be a deck. It could even maybe be adding another room to the house.
Yeah, and it's so popular that there are tons of TV shows about how to build stuff for your house, and there are a lot of really big stores where you can go and find all of this equipment for building stuff for your house.
Right, so basically there are these big stores where you can get anything from paint to wood to tools, huge amount of material, so you can do it yourself.
Mm-hmm. You can DIY.
All right, so that's all the time we have for today, but let us know what you think and tell us if you are into doing handiwork like this, like maybe building a tree house or building a deck.
That's right. You can come to our website at englishpod.com and tell us about it. As well, you can also leave your questions there.
All right, so we'll see you guys there, and until next time.
Thanks for listening, and goodbye.
Bye.
Hi, and welcome to another exciting episode of the English Podcast Zone. Today, we're going to dive into something a bit different, but it's incredibly useful and interesting. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced English learner, you'll find new vocabulary, phrases, and even cultural insights in this episode. We'll be talking about construction, tools, and work-related phrases, so get ready to level up your English with some real-world language. Imagine this: you've been hired for a job to build something big, something that requires teamwork and skill. Today, we are going to explore the vocabulary you would need to describe this job and how to talk about it in English. If you're not particularly interested in construction, don't worry. Even if building isn't your thing, you'll still learn valuable language to talk about work, teamwork, and the tools used in different kinds of jobs. One of the first things you'll hear when people are working on a construction site is the importance of tools. Tools are essential in many jobs, not just construction. They help people complete their tasks more efficiently and with greater precision. Whether it's a hammer, a nail gun, or even a measuring tape, every tool serves its purpose. In this episode, you'll hear phrases that are used to describe work on a construction project. These include instructions about how to follow plans, using the right tools, and making sure the work is done properly. For example, you'll learn phrases like measure twice, cut once, which is a common saying in construction to emphasize the importance of careful measurement to avoid mistakes. Not only will you hear specific phrases, but you'll also learn how to apply them in real-life situations. Whether you're building a deck, fixing something around the house, or even describing your own work experiences, this episode will help you sound more natural and confident when talking about work and projects. By the end of this episode, you'll feel more comfortable using English to talk about different tasks, whether it's at home, in the office, or out in the field. So let's get started and learn some valuable vocabulary and expressions you can use right away. Now that we've set the stage for our construction project, let's dive deeper into some of the key tools and phrases you'll encounter on a work site. One of the most common tools you'll hear about is the nail gun. It's an advanced tool that's used to drive nails into wood without needing a hammer. Nail guns use compressed air to push nails quickly into the material, making them a lot faster and more efficient than hammers, especially when you're working on a large project like building a deck. Understanding how and when to use a nail gun is important, especially because it requires precision and care. Another tool you'll come across is the circular saw. A circular saw is a powerful tool that helps you cut through wood with ease. Its name comes from the shape of the saw blade, which is round or circular. Using a circular saw requires some skill because it's very easy to make a mistake if you're not paying attention. A common phrase you'll hear when using this tool is, "Help me cut this 2x4. A 2x4 is one of the most common types of wood used in construction. It's called a 2x4 because it's 2 inches thick and 4 inches wide. If you're involved in any DIY projects, knowing what a 2x4 is will be essential. But once you've cut your wood, you're not done just yet. It's important to sand the edges of the wood to ensure there are no sharp splinters. Splinters are tiny pieces of wood that stick out of the surface and can cause injury if someone brushes against them. When you're working with wood, it's always a good idea to sand the edges smooth with a sander, a tool that helps make rough edges smoother. If you don't have a sander, you can use sandpaper, but the sander does the job much faster and more efficiently. You might also need a level when building something like a deck. A level is a tool used to make sure that surfaces are perfectly horizontal or vertical. It helps ensure that everything you build is straight, which is crucial for structural stability. Every carpenter or builder has a level on hand to make sure the work is done right. Along with the level, you'll often need a measuring tape. A measuring tape is a flexible tool that lets you measure distances or lengths easily. It's an indispensable tool in any kind of construction or DIY work. These are just a few of the many tools that make up a builder's toolkit. In addition to the tools, there are also important work-related phrases you should know. For example, you might hear the phrase, "I need everyone to give 110% today." This means you're expected to put in more effort than just the minimum, to give everything you've got to complete the task efficiently and on time. Giving 110% shows commitment and determination. When working with a team, it's important to follow the plans. These plans are like a map, showing you exactly how everything should be constructed. Whether it's a deck, a room, or a building, the plans give you detailed instructions on how to proceed. So, when someone says, "We need to follow the plans exactly," they mean that no steps should be skipped or modified. Every detail is crucial, and it's essential to stay on track. As we continue with our construction project, it's essential to keep in mind the importance of safety. When you're working with tools, especially powerful ones like nail guns and circular saws, safety is the #1 priority. Splinters, if not properly sanded down, can become a safety hazard, but even the tools themselves can be dangerous if not used correctly. That's why wearing the right protective equipment is crucial on any construction site. This includes things like safety goggles, ear protection, and work gloves. Safety should never be overlooked because a simple mistake could lead to serious injury. Another important part of construction, especially when you're working on something like a deck, is ensuring that everything is up to code. Building codes are rules and regulations that specify the minimum standards for construction work. These codes are in place to ensure that buildings are safe and structurally sound. You'll often hear phrases like, "We need to make sure everything is up to code," or "the home inspector will check if it's up to code." Following these regulations helps avoid potential problems down the line, and it guarantees the safety of those who will use the building. You'll also come across the carpenter's rule of thumb, a very handy saying that comes up often in construction. The rule of thumb is a general principle or guideline that is applied in many situations. One of the most common ones in construction is measure twice, cut once. This phrase emphasizes the importance of double-checking your measurements before making any cuts. By doing so, you reduce the chances of making a mistake, which could waste both time and materials. In construction, Time is often of the essence. As we've seen in this project, the team has only one day to finish the deck. That's a big challenge, but it's also common in many industries. When time is tight, people often need to give 110%, a phrase you've probably heard before. Giving 110% means putting in more effort than the usual, doing everything you can to complete the task with maximum efficiency and quality. It's about showing dedication and hard work, even when the clock is ticking. But there's another phrase that also pops up in work environments: taking pride in your work. To take pride in your work means to do your job with care and attention, knowing that what you're doing is valuable. When you take pride in your work, you're committed to producing something of high quality. It's about finding satisfaction in the effort you put into your tasks, no matter how big or small. Whether you're building a deck, designing a project, or performing any job, taking pride in your work ensures you're doing the best possible job. Taking pride in your work isn't just about doing things well, though. It's also about being part of a team and contributing to a larger goal. The construction team has to work together to make sure everything gets done in time. Good teamwork can make or break a project. Each person plays a role, and by supporting one another, you create a better result. When someone says, "We've got a great team here," it means that everyone's working hard and collaborating toward a shared goal. As you can see, there's much more to construction than just using tools. It involves careful planning, attention to detail, following rules, and above all, working together as a team. These principles can be applied to many areas of life, especially when you're working on a project with others. Whether you're building a house or working on a smaller DIY task, understanding the importance of safety, planning, pride, and teamwork will help you succeed. Let's take a closer look at some of the tools and actions that are essential in the world of construction. We've already mentioned the nail gun, circular saw, and level, but now let's dig deeper into what makes these tools so important and how they function in more specific scenarios. For example, when you're building something like a deck, one of the first things you'll notice is the variety of tasks that require different types of equipment. The tools you use will vary depending on whether you're cutting wood, measuring, or attaching materials together. One tool you might use after cutting wood is the sander. A sander is a machine that's used to smooth out rough surfaces, and it's a tool that's especially useful when you're working with wood. When you sand a piece of wood, you're essentially removing rough edges or imperfections, making the surface smooth to the touch. This process is important not just for aesthetics, but also for safety. If the wood is left rough, it could have dangerous splinters or sharp pieces of wood that can cause injury. When you use a sander, you're ensuring that your work is safe and smooth, both in terms of function and appearance. When working with wood, another important tool is the drill. A drill is often used to make holes in wood or other materials. These holes might be for screws, bolts, or other fasteners that hold parts of your project together. A drill is versatile and comes in many forms, from simple manual drills to more powerful electric drills. The ability to use a drill effectively is a must-have skill for anyone working in construction or DIY projects. Just like the other tools we've talked about, it's important to use the drill correctly to avoid mistakes and damage. Now, if you're working with other people, it's important to communicate clearly and effectively. You might hear phrases like "pass me that hammer" or "grab that level." These are straightforward requests that show how teamwork plays a critical role in getting things done on a construction site. Each person's task is important, and the efficiency of the entire team depends on everyone working together. The faster you can pass the right tool to the right person, the smoother the project will go. This doesn't only apply to construction, it's a useful principle in any group work or collaborative environment. Along with communication, another key aspect of construction work is precision. Whether you're cutting wood, drilling holes, or measuring lengths, accuracy is crucial. You can't afford to be sloppy, especially when the structure you're building needs to be safe and stable. The phrase "measure twice, cut once" is a great reminder of this. It's a simple rule, but it can save you time, money, and effort in the long run. When you're building something, Taking the extra few seconds to double-check your measurements or the angle of your cut can make all the difference between a successful project and a mistake that could set you back. Precision is also important when using tools like a level or measuring tape. A level ensures that everything is aligned properly and prevents any uneven surfaces or structures. Meanwhile, a measuring tape is essential for ensuring that the dimensions of your project are accurate. Without these tools, it's almost impossible to guarantee that the project will come together correctly. So, even though these tools might seem simple, they are absolutely vital to achieving the final result. In any construction project, whether you're building something big like a deck or something small like a shelf, the key is to take your time, pay attention to detail, and use the right tools in the right way. By doing this, you'll ensure that the work is done efficiently, safely, and with the best possible outcome. These tools and skills may seem specific to construction, but they are transferable to many other areas where accuracy, safety, and teamwork are essential. Whether you're working in an office, on a construction site, or even at home fixing things, the same principles of careful work apply. As we move forward with our construction journey, let's focus on how to deal with challenges that arise on the job. No matter how well you plan, there will always be obstacles that you need to overcome. In construction, some of these challenges are practical, like dealing with tough materials or unexpected weather. But others are about how you manage your time, your tools, and your team. This is where understanding the language of work becomes even more important. For instance, when something isn't going as planned, you might hear someone say, "The wood is too hard," or "the nails won't go in." This could be a signal that the material you're working with is more difficult than anticipated. In this case, using the right tool is key. If the hammer isn't working, the team might switch to a nail gun, which is much faster and more effective for the job at hand. In situations like this, knowing when to adapt and choose the right tool can make a huge difference in how efficiently the task is completed. Sometimes, challenges on the job require a bit more creativity. For example, the phrase "think outside the box" is commonly used in construction and many other industries. This expression encourages you to find alternative solutions to problems. Instead of simply following the steps you've been given, you might need to figure out a new approach that will save time or resources. In construction, this could mean modifying the plan slightly to accommodate a design flaw or a material shortage. It's about being flexible and thinking ahead. At the same time, it's important not to rush through these challenges. Even if the pressure is on to finish the project quickly, cutting corners can lead to bigger problems down the road. That's why the phrase "don't cut corners" is so important. Cutting corners means taking shortcuts that may seem like a quick fix but end up compromising the quality or safety of your work. For example, if you're building a deck and you skip a step or use the wrong materials to speed things up, it could endanger the structure. In construction, and in life, doing things properly the first time is always the best approach. When you're managing a construction project, you'll also hear a lot of talk about deadlines. Deadlines are essential in ensuring that projects stay on track, but they can also be a source of stress. For instance, the team in our example had only one day to finish the deck. Under such tight pressure, it's easy for mistakes to happen. However, knowing how to manage stress and stay calm under pressure is an important skill for anyone working in a high-pressure environment. This is where effective time management comes into play. Allocating time for each task and keeping a steady pace can help avoid rushing, allowing you to maintain a high standard of work. Another phrase you'll often hear is "stay focused." Staying focused on the task at hand is essential when you're working with tools and materials that require precision. When people start to lose focus, accidents happen. Tools like saws, drills, and even a simple hammer can cause serious injury if you're not paying attention. Staying focused means keeping your mind on the task and making sure everything is done properly. In construction, distractions can be dangerous, and so the ability to stay focused and maintain concentration is key. In every project, there are moments when things seem to go wrong or don't work as expected. But how you handle those moments can define the success of the project. When challenges arise, use your problem-solving skills, adapt to the situation, and stay calm. The more you practice these skills, the easier it becomes to navigate obstacles. Whether you're working on a construction site or tackling a different kind of challenge, these same principles, being adaptable, not cutting corners, managing time effectively, and staying focused, are valuable in every type of work. As we continue our construction project, it's important to talk about the concept of teamwork. Whether you're building a deck, renovating a room, or tackling any kind of project, collaboration is key. The success of any project often depends on how well the team works together, communicates, and supports each other. In the construction world, every person has a unique role, and it's crucial that each team member contributes their expertise. One of the first steps in ensuring great teamwork is clear communication. On the construction site, clear communication can make the difference between a job well done and a job filled with mistakes. You might hear someone shout, "Pass me that hammer," or "Can you grab the measuring tape?" These straightforward commands are essential in ensuring that the right tools are in the right hands at the right time. Without this type of communication, things can quickly fall apart. So, when you're working in any group setting, it's important to be specific and clear about what you need and what you expect from others. Equally important is the ability to listen. When someone on the team gives you instructions, whether it's saw this board at a 45-degree angle or make sure the wood is level, it's crucial to listen carefully. Misunderstanding a simple instruction can lead to mistakes that waste time and materials. In the construction world, there's no room for confusion, and even small errors can lead to significant problems down the line. So always pay attention and ask questions if you're unsure about anything. One phrase you'll hear often in construction is "We're all in this together." This expression reinforces the idea that everyone on the team plays an important role and contributes to the overall success of the project. It's a reminder that no task is too small and that every contribution matters. Whether you're the person using the nail gun, the one measuring the wood, or the one checking the plans, every role is important for making sure the project goes smoothly. In addition to communication and listening, problem solving is another essential skill when working as part of a team. Sometimes, unexpected problems will arise. Maybe the wood isn't the right size, or the weather turns bad, or a tool breaks down. When these situations happen, the team needs to stay calm and work together to find a solution. This is where creative thinking comes into play. For instance, if you can't find the exact tool you need, maybe you'll need to improvise and use something else. When the team works together to solve a problem, the task becomes much easier to handle. Another aspect of teamwork in construction is supporting each other. If you're working in a team and notice that someone is struggling or has fallen behind, it's important to offer help. You might say something like, "Can I help you with that?" or "I'll take over that task for you." Being supportive not only helps get the job done faster, but also boosts morale. When people feel supported, they are more likely to stay motivated and perform at their best. A supportive team creates an atmosphere of trust, and this is crucial for the success of any project. Moreover, accountability plays a major role in a team's effectiveness. Each team member must take responsibility for their tasks and ensure they are completed to the best of their ability. If you make a mistake, it's important to acknowledge it and work to fix it. Accountability helps keep the team on track and ensures that everyone is doing their part. In construction, there's often a lot at stake, so each person needs to contribute their best effort to avoid delays or safety issues. In construction, and in many other areas of life, teamwork is a critical factor in success. A project is rarely completed by one person alone. It takes collaboration, effective communication, problem solving, and support to make sure everything goes according to plan. Whether you're working on a construction site, in an office, or in a classroom, these principles of teamwork can help you achieve your goals and build strong relationships with those around you. As we move further into our construction project, it's time to talk about the importance of organization and planning. These two aspects are essential for ensuring that everything goes smoothly. When you're working on a construction site, there's often a lot of moving parts, tools, materials, people, and timelines. If things aren't organized properly, it can lead to confusion, delays, and mistakes. A well-organized workspace is critical to completing any project efficiently and safely. First, let's talk about material management. Construction projects require a variety of materials, whether it's wood, nails, screws, or paint. Keeping track of these materials and ensuring they are available when needed is an essential part of the planning process. You don't want to be halfway through a project only to realize that you've run out of something you need. This is where careful inventory management comes into play. By planning ahead and making sure that all materials are on hand, you can avoid unnecessary delays. Along with materials, it's important to have a clear understanding of the project timeline. In any construction project, especially one with a tight deadline like the deck we are building, time is of the essence. The team has only one day to finish the project, so proper planning is crucial. A timeline ensures that everyone knows what needs to be done and when. Without a timeline, it's easy for things to get off track, leading to missed deadlines and rushed work. That's why the first step of any construction project is always to review the plans and determine how much time each task will take. This ensures that no one is overburdened and the team stays on schedule. When we talk about planning, we also need to touch on the concept of sequencing. Sequencing refers to the order in which tasks are completed. For example, when building a deck, you need to lay the foundation before you start adding the walls or finishing touches. This logical progression is what keeps the project flowing and ensures that each task builds on the previous one. In construction, sequencing is just as important as the tools you use because doing things in the wrong order can lead to mistakes or delays. A big part of the planning process involves understanding the scope of the project. The scope is a detailed description of what is and isn't included in the project. For instance, when building a deck, the scope might include specific details about the materials used, the size of the deck, and any additional features like stairs or railings. Understanding the scope helps the team stay focused on what's important and prevents unnecessary work or changes from arising mid-project. When you know exactly what needs to be done, you can better allocate resources and time, which is key to staying organized. Alongside planning, another crucial element of organization is maintaining a clean workspace. A tidy construction site is not only safer, but it's also more productive. Tools, materials, and debris should be kept in their proper places, and the team should clean up regularly to prevent accidents. For example, if you leave tools scattered around the work area, someone might trip or accidentally injure themselves. By keeping everything organized, you ensure that everyone can work efficiently and stay safe. A well-organized team also ensures that communication flows smoothly. When everything is in its place and tasks are clearly defined, it's much easier to communicate with your team members. Whether you're giving instructions or asking for assistance, clear and effective communication is essential. When people know exactly what's going on, there's less confusion and fewer mistakes. Proper planning and organization can make or break a project. Whether it's a large construction project or a smaller task, making sure everything is in place and everyone knows what they are doing is vital for success. As we've seen with our deck project, time management, material management, and sequencing are key to staying on track and delivering quality work. It's not just about using the right tools. It's about managing the entire process from start to finish to ensure that everything runs smoothly and is completed on time. Now that we've discussed organization, planning, and teamwork, let's focus on quality control and the importance of attention to detail in construction projects. Whether you're building a deck, constructing a building, or completing any other project, maintaining high standards of quality is essential for ensuring that the final product is safe, durable, and professionally done. The first step in quality control is following the plans. As we've mentioned earlier, the plans serve as a blueprint for the entire project. If you don't follow the plans exactly, you run the risk of making mistakes that can affect the overall structure and safety of the project. Construction plans are designed with precision, so deviating from them can lead to problems down the line. Even small changes in measurement or materials can compromise the integrity of the project. That's why sticking to the plans is essential for maintaining quality. Next, precision becomes a key factor in delivering a high-quality result. For example, when you're measuring the length of wood or drilling holes, it's important to get the measurements correct. A small mistake in measurements can lead to significant issues later on, like doors that don't close properly, uneven surfaces, or structures that aren't stable. The phrase measure twice, cut once isn't just about saving time. It's about ensuring that everything fits together perfectly, without the need for rework or corrections. Taking the extra time to ensure accuracy can prevent costly mistakes and deliver a polished, well-crafted end result. When it comes to tools, regular maintenance and proper use are critical for quality control. Using tools that are in poor condition or not designed for the job can lead to poor workmanship. For instance, a dull saw won't make clean cuts, and a nail gun that isn't working properly can cause nails to go in at the wrong angle, compromising the strength of the structure. Always check your tools before you start working to ensure they are in good condition and appropriate for the task at hand. This attention to your equipment will directly affect the quality of your work. Another important aspect of quality control is safety. When workers are careful about following safety protocols, they are also ensuring that their work is done with precision and thoughtfulness. For instance, using a level or measuring tape correctly is not only about getting the right measurements but also about ensuring that the structure is stable and safe to use. When you're focused on safety, you're more likely to take the time necessary to do things right, rather than rushing through tasks or cutting corners. An often overlooked part of quality control is cleanliness on the job site. It might seem like a small thing, but keeping the work area clean and organized has a big impact on the quality of the final product. A messy site not only increases the risk of accidents but can also slow down the progress of the work. Tools can get lost, materials can be misplaced, and debris can interfere with the process. By regularly cleaning the area and keeping everything in order, you can avoid these disruptions and maintain a high standard of work. A clean site also helps workers stay focused, ensuring that their work is as efficient and precise as possible. In construction, maintaining quality control also involves regular inspections. Having a second set of eyes to check your work can help catch mistakes early on before they become bigger issues. Whether it's a final inspection before completion or a mid-project check, reviewing your work ensures that everything is in order. This doesn't just apply to construction. In any field, a review or checkup is a great way to ensure that the work you're doing is up to standard. For example, the home inspector checking the deck plans during construction is making sure that the project complies with building codes and safety standards. Lastly, a commitment to quality means taking pride in your work. When you take pride in what you do, you're more likely to be thorough and careful. You don't just want to finish the job, you want to complete it well, ensuring that the final product is something to be proud of. Taking pride in your work means caring about the details, making sure everything fits, and putting in the effort to deliver the best result possible. Quality control isn't just about following rules or using the right tools. It's about creating something you can be proud of. Whether you're building a deck, working on a project at home, or in any job, paying attention to the details and maintaining high standards will lead to better results and a more successful project. So, remember, precision, safety, cleanliness, and commitment to quality will always make the difference between good work and great work. As we reach the final part of our construction project, let's take a moment to reflect on the key lessons we've learned and how they apply not only to construction but to other areas of life and work as well. Whether you're working on a physical project like building a deck, managing a team, or tackling a task at home, the principles of hard work, attention to detail, and collaboration are universal. The skills we've discussed can help you succeed in any project, big or small. One of the most important takeaways from this entire process is the importance of planning. A project without a clear plan is like a map without directions. It's easy to get lost. From the moment you start a project, you need to have a clear understanding of the goals, the steps required, and the resources available. Proper planning ensures that you're not wasting time, money, or materials. It also helps you stay focused and ensures that you're on track to finish the project on time. Teamwork is another key takeaway. No matter what the project is, it's important to recognize that success often relies on the collaboration of others. Whether you're working with colleagues, clients, or a team of contractors, it's essential to communicate clearly, listen carefully, and support each other. A project is rarely completed by just one person. It takes a team to bring it all together. And when everyone pulls their weight and works together effectively, the results will be far more successful. We've also talked a lot about quality control and attention to detail. In construction, and in any other field, the little things matter. Whether it's making sure measurements are accurate, ensuring safety standards are met, or double-checking that the right tools are used, paying attention to detail ensures that the work is done well. These principles can be applied to any area of work or life. It's the difference between doing something quickly and doing something well. And at the end of the day, you'll feel a greater sense of pride in your work when you know you've given it your best effort. Lastly, we've seen how important it is to stay organized and to manage your time effectively. In construction, as with any project, staying organized is key to staying efficient. Having a system for handling tools, materials, and tasks ensures that the project progresses smoothly and is completed successfully. Time management is equally important. You may have tight deadlines or unexpected obstacles along the way, but the ability to stay focused and manage your time wisely will help you navigate these challenges and finish strong. Thank you for being a part of the English Podcast Zone. I hope these lessons have given you valuable insights, not just into the world of construction, but into how these skills can be applied to various aspects of life. Whether you're building a deck, working on a new project, or simply improving your English, remember that planning, teamwork, quality control, attention to detail, and organization are all critical for success. Keep these principles in mind, and you'll be well on your way to completing any project with confidence and pride.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. A circular saw mounted under a table or bench so that large pieces of wood could be cut.
Table saw.
To try your best.
To give 110%.
A decorative strip used for ornamentation or finishing on the edges of a wall.
Molding.
A piece of wood that is 2 inches thick and 4 inches wide.
2x4.
A wall or ceiling constructed of a prefabricated material, such as plasterboard or paneling.
Drywall.
Let your effort be a reflection of your skill.
Take pride in your work.
A person or firm that supplies materials or labor for other companies.
Contractor.
Set of actions to complete a task.
Plans.
A person who makes or repairs wooden structures.
Carpenter.
A tool used to measure how long something is.
Measuring tape.
Let's try that faster. Let your effort be a reflection of your skill.
Take pride in your work.
A circular saw mounted under a table or bench so that large pieces of wood could be cut.
Table saw.
A piece of wood that is 2 inches thick and 4 inches wide.
2x4.
To try your best.
To give 110%.
A decorative strip used for ornamentation or finishing on the edges of a wall.
Molding.
A tool used to measure how long something is.
Measuring tape.
Set of actions to complete a task.
Plans.
A person or firm that supplies materials or labor for other companies.
Contractor.
A wall or ceiling constructed of a prefabricated material, such as plasterboard or paneling.
Drywall.
A person who makes or repairs wooden structures.
Carpenter.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
To give 110%. It's not enough to try your best. You have to give 110% if you want to be successful. To give 110%. We really have to give 110% today if we want to finish this project on time. To give 110%. Good job, team. You really gave 110% out there today. 2x4. We need another 2x4 to finish this deck. 2x4. I can't come to work today because a 2x4 fell from my roof and hit me on the head. 2x4. Did you see that? That wrestler pulled out a 2x4 and broke it on the other guy's back. Take pride in your work. When you take pride in your work, you will start to enjoy it more and may even want to learn more to improve yourself. Take pride in your work. I respect Jim a lot because he really takes pride in his work and is very dedicated. Take pride in your work. How can I take pride in my work if I don't enjoy what I'm doing? Plans. Carl, I need the kitchen plans today so I can start putting up the kitchen cabinets. Plans. These floor plans are in Chinese. We need to get them translated before we start construction. Plans. Our architect isn't done drawing our floor plans, but I'm sure the house is going to look great. Measuring tape. This measuring tape is in inches. I need one that has centimeters on it. Measuring tape. Measuring tapes were originally used by tailors and dressmakers. Measuring tape. Check out my new digital measuring tape. All I have to do is point at an object and it will tell me how far away it is.